If you're watching this right now, it's not random. You were guided here for a reason. Because deep inside, you already know that your dream life exists. The success you've been chasing, the love you've been waiting for, the abundance you've been asking the universe for. It's not somewhere far away. It's not just a possibility. It already exists in a parallel reality. And the real question isn't if it exists. The question is, how do you align with it? How do you shift yourself into the version of reality where you already have everything you've been desiring? Today, I'm going to show you how. We live in a universe that is far stranger, far more mysterious, and far more powerful than most of us have ever been told. Quantum physics, the very science that describes the smallest building blocks of our reality, tells us that every possible outcome already exists in what scientists call the quantum field. Imagine it like an infinite ocean of possibilities, where every version of your life, your richest, happiest, most fulfilled self, already exists right now, in this very moment. Think about that for a second. Right now, there is a version of you who already lives in the house you dream of, already has the bank balance you desire, already enjoys the deep relationships you've been praying for. That version isn't separate from you. It's just existing on a slightly different frequency, a parallel reality, waiting for you to tune in. Now, most people live their entire lives without ever realizing this. They keep wishing, hoping, and begging the universe for change, but they never shift into the version of themselves that already has it. But here's the secret. Manifestation isn't about creating something out of nothing. It's about aligning with the reality where your desire already exists. And the moment you understand this, everything changes. Imagine this. You're listening to a radio. When you tune the dial to one frequency, you hear one station. Maybe it's playing a sad song, maybe it's static and noise. But just a small shift of the dial, and suddenly you're listening to a completely different station, different music, different voices, different energy. Both stations were always there, but you only experience the one you're tuned into. Reality works the same way. Your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, they are the dial that tunes you into one parallel reality or another. And the moment you learn how to shift that dial consciously, you unlock the power to step into the version of your life where everything you desire already exists. Now, I know this might sound almost too incredible to believe, but stick with me, because in this video, we're going to break it all down. First, I'll explain how parallel realities actually work, through both ancient wisdom and modern quantum science. Then, I'll show you the exact steps you can take to align with the version of you that already exists in your dream life. And finally, we'll close with a powerful activation, a way for you to step into this new reality right here, right now. So let's begin at the very start. What exactly are parallel realities? Parallel realities, or parallel timelines, are different versions of existence happening simultaneously. Every choice you make creates a branching path. Every yes, every no, every decision splits reality into countless possibilities. The version of you watching this video right now has already chosen one path, but there are infinite other versions of you who made different choices, living out different experiences. Some of those versions are experiencing less than you have now, and some of them are experiencing far, far more. Here's the mind-blowing part. They all exist in this very moment, not in the future, not in some distant dimension, but right now, layered over each other like countless frequencies on a radio dial. When you understand this, you realize that manifestation isn't about waiting for your desire to come someday. It's about shifting your energy so that you step into the timeline where your desire is already true. And this isn't just spiritual philosophy. It's rooted in the very discoveries of quantum mechanics. The famous double-slit experiment, for example, shows us that particles don't exist in just one place until they are observed. Instead, they exist in a cloud of possibilities, multiple outcomes existing all at once, until consciousness collapses them into one reality. This is what spiritual traditions have been teaching for thousands of years. Your consciousness is the key. What you observe, believe, and align with determines the reality you experience. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you are tuned into. Think of your life right now. How many times have you thought, "I'll believe it when I see it"? But in the quantum world, the opposite is true. You'll see it when you believe it. So the real work of manifestation is not trying to control the outside world. It's learning to shift your inner frequency. It's learning to embody the version of you who already lives in that parallel reality. And that's exactly what we're going to explore step by step. But before we dive deeper, I want you to pause for a moment and really let this sink in. Somewhere in this infinite field of possibilities, there is already a version of you who has everything you've been dreaming of. They're not struggling. They're not waiting. They're living it. Your job is not to create that reality. It's to align with it. And in the next part of this video, I'm going to reveal how you can do exactly that, by understanding the mechanics of parallel realities and the power of shifting your identity. Because the truth is, you don't manifest what you want. You manifest who you are. And when you become the version of you that already has it, reality has no choice but to shift to match you. Now that we've opened the doorway to this concept of parallel realities, let's go deeper. Because understanding this isn't just about theory. It's about completely transforming how you see yourself, your desires, and your place in the universe. Most people live under the illusion that reality is fixed, that what you see in front of you is all there is. You wake up, you go through the same patterns, and you assume that tomorrow will look a lot like today. But quantum physics tells us something entirely different. Reality is not fixed. It is fluid. It is shifting every moment, shaped by your consciousness. This is where the idea of parallel realities becomes so powerful. Because every possible version of your life already exists, the real question becomes, which one are you tuning into? Let's use a simple story to illustrate this. Imagine two people, both with the same dream of becoming financially free. One wakes up every day thinking, it's impossible, life is unfair, money is hard to come by. That person vibrates at the frequency of lack. Without realizing it, they are aligning themselves with a parallel reality where struggle and scarcity exist. Every action they take is influenced by that inner state, and so life continues to reflect that back to them. Now, the other person wakes up and says, somewhere there's a version of me who is already wealthy, already successful, already free. And if that version exists, I can align with it. That belief shifts their entire vibration. They walk differently, they make decisions differently, they approach opportunities differently. And what happens? The reality they experience begins to shift to match that inner alignment. Both people live in the same world, but their inner state tunes them into completely different realities. This is why the concept of identity is everything in manifestation. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. If your identity is still stuck in lack, doubt, and fear, then you'll continue to align with timelines where lack, doubt, and fear exist. But the moment you begin to shift your identity, when you start embodying the version of you who already has it, reality has no choice but to rearrange itself. Think about how this shows up in your own life. Maybe you've noticed times when you were confident, when you truly believed in yourself, and opportunities seemed to appear out of nowhere. And maybe you've also noticed times when you were filled with doubt, and everything seemed to fall apart. The external world didn't change first, your inner alignment did. This is the essence of quantum manifestation. Your outer reality is a mirror of your inner state. Now let's look at this from a scientific angle. The multiverse theory in physics suggests that every possible outcome of every decision exists in its own parallel universe. If you turn left instead of right, there's a reality where you made the opposite choice. If you choose courage instead of fear, there's a reality where your entire future unfolds differently. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. Your consciousness has the ability to jump tracks. In other words, you can shift your awareness from one timeline to another, from one parallel reality to another, simply by changing your vibrational state. How do you do this? Through three key elements: thought, emotion, and action. Your thoughts are like the blueprint of the reality you're tuning into. When you constantly think in terms of limitation, you reinforce the blueprint of a limited reality. But when you start thinking as if your desire is already real, you lay down the structure of a new timeline. Your emotions are the energy that powers those thoughts. They are the vibrational frequency you're broadcasting into the quantum field. If your thoughts say, "I am abundant," but your emotions are filled with fear and doubt, you're sending out a mixed signal. But when your emotions align with your thoughts, when you feel abundant, feel grateful, feel like it's already real, you create resonance with the parallel reality where it already exists. And finally, your actions are the physical expression of that alignment. When you begin taking steps as if your desire is already true, you collapse the probability wave into the timeline that matches your energy. Let me share a powerful example. There was a woman who had struggled for years to find love. She always said things like, "I'll be happy when I meet the right person." But deep down, she identified as someone who was single, lonely, and unlucky in love. That identity kept her locked into a reality where love was always out of reach. One day, she came across the concept of parallel realities. She realized that somewhere there was already a version of her who was happily in love, in a beautiful relationship. She asked herself, how does that version of me think? How does she feel? How does she live her daily life? And then she started to embody it. She decorated her home as if she were already sharing it with someone. She walked with the confidence of someone who was already loved. She felt gratitude for the love that was already on its way. Within months, her entire life shifted. She met someone who reflected that new vibration back to her, and soon she was living the very reality she had once only dreamed of. Now, was this magic? Not in the sense of pulling something out of thin air. It was alignment. By shifting her identity, emotions, and actions, she tuned into the parallel reality where that love already existed. This is available to you in every area of your life, whether it's money, health, relationships, or purpose. But here's the catch. Most people sabotage themselves because they keep looking at their current reality as proof of what's possible. They say, "I'll believe it when I see it." But remember, in the quantum field, you'll see it because you believe it. Your current reality is just a reflection of your past vibration. If you want a new reality, you have to embody it before you see it. Let's make this practical. Right now, close your eyes and imagine the version of you who already has what you desire. What do they look like? How do they carry themselves? What do they believe about the world? How do they feel when they wake up in the morning? This version of you is not imaginary. They are real, living in a parallel reality, and your job is to merge with them. Every time you think, feel, and act like that version of yourself, you are aligning with that timeline. And the more consistently you do it, the faster reality shifts around you. It's like tuning a guitar string. At first, the vibration might not match, but with small adjustments, you eventually reach perfect resonance. And once you're in resonance with your desired reality, you step into it naturally. This is why quantum manifestation isn't about forcing or struggling. It's about alignment. It's about becoming the version of you who already has it, and then letting reality catch up. So, when people ask, how do I manifest faster? The real answer is this. Stop waiting for it and start being it. Stop asking and start aligning. Stop seeing your desire as something in the future and start living as if it's true now. Because remember, all versions of you already exist. The question is not if your dream life is real, it's whether you're willing to align with the version of you who's already living it. So now that you understand how parallel realities work and why your identity shapes everything, let's make this practical. Because it's one thing to understand the theory. It's another to actually shift yourself into the reality you desire. Here are the 3 most powerful steps to align with the version of you that already exists. Step 1. Define your parallel self. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the version of you who already has everything you desire. Maybe it's financial freedom, maybe it's radiant health, Maybe it's a fulfilling relationship. See this version of yourself clearly. Ask yourself, how do they think? What do they believe about life? How do they feel when they wake up in the morning? How do they carry themselves in the world? Write it down. Journal it. Make it as vivid as possible, because the clearer your image of this parallel self, the easier it is to align with them. Step 2. Embody the energy. Now, once you've defined that version of yourself, begin to embody their energy right now. Don't wait until the external world shows you proof. Remember, you don't see it first, you believe it first. If your parallel self is abundant, then start living with the energy of abundance. That doesn't mean spending recklessly. It means feeling gratitude for what you already have, acting from a place of overflow, and trusting that more is always coming. If your parallel self is loved, then treat yourself as someone who is already deeply valued. Walk with confidence, speak with kindness, and radiate the energy of love. If your parallel self is successful, then begin taking action like someone who knows success is inevitable. Stop doubting yourself, stop hesitating, start stepping boldly, even when the evidence hasn't caught up yet. Every time you act like that version of yourself, you shift the dial. You tune into the frequency of that parallel reality. Step 3. Anchor it with daily practice. Shifting realities isn't a one-time event. It's a daily practice of alignment. Here are 3 simple ways to anchor this. 1. Visualization. Spend a few minutes each day imagining yourself living in that parallel reality. See it, feel it, believe it as if it's happening now. Visualization is not daydreaming. It's aligning your frequency with what already exists. 2. Affirmations with emotion. Don't just repeat words. Feel them. When you say, "I am abundant," breathe into it. When you say, "I am loved," let yourself feel that warmth in your heart. Emotion is the energy that collapses the wave into reality. 3. Micro actions. Do something small each day that your parallel self would do. If they're healthy, drink more water, take that walk, care for your body. If they're abundant, organize your finances, invest in yourself, act responsibly. If they're confident, speak up, stand tall, make eye contact. Small actions compound, and every step shifts you closer. The trap to avoid now. There's one thing that stops most people: constantly checking their current reality for proof. They say, "I'll believe I'm abundant when I see more money." But that's backwards. Your current reality is just a reflection of your past vibration. If you keep waiting for proof, you'll stay stuck in the same loop. The secret is to live as if it's already true, even when the evidence hasn't shown up yet. Because the evidence is always delayed. It's a mirror. If you smile in front of a mirror, the reflection doesn't appear until you smile first. The same is true with manifestation. Quantum jump activation. Now, let's close with something powerful. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, I want you to imagine yourself stepping into a doorway. On one side of the doorway is the version of you that has been struggling, waiting, hoping. On the other side is the version of you who already has everything you've desired: abundance, love, health, success. Feel yourself stepping through that doorway right now. Feel the shift in your body, in your energy. You are no longer waiting. You are no longer hoping. You are living it. You are aligned with it. You are embodying it. This is not just imagination. This is alignment. This is you tuning into the frequency of the parallel reality where it's already real. Now here's the truth. You don't have to chase your dream life. It already exists. You don't have to wonder if it's possible. It already is. You don't have to wait for the future, because in the quantum field, all realities exist simultaneously. The only question is, which version of you are you willing to become? Because the moment you decide, the moment you embody it, the universe has no choice but to rearrange itself around you. So don't wait another day. Start living as that version of yourself right now. Walk as them, think as them, feel as them. And watch how quickly reality shifts to match you. Your parallel reality is not out there somewhere. It's here, right now, waiting for you to align. And today, you've taken the first step through the doorway. The rest of your life begins now.